What are we looking
and
at?
those are the
Yellow ducts.
No, that's why she aces
the
all
collecting
the
ducts
lab exams.
Who does?
You
Okay.
get ace on everyone.
and the papillary ducts.
Capillary. This is
Why am I not seeing
So
it?
that's these tubes that are running in this model.
it's not in the book.
It's not in the book.
Now,
No. It's on page.
So the collecting
Oh.
tubes are the yellow?
The next page, that one? Here?
No.
No.
It's not there. I told you this.
now what you're looking at are these tubes. Okay. The papillary ducts are opening up at the bottom of the papillary region.
Oh.
And then running through those pyramids, you have
Bless
these
you.
long ducts that are running down parallel to each other. And you have this duct that's coming down, which is the collecting duct. Okay? We have different structures. The actual structural functional unit of the kidney is called the nephron. And this is what produces the urine. And then as the urine forms and enters these collecting ducts, which drain down into the papillary region. Okay? And this is what is on that model. The papillary ducts are down right by the opening of the papillary. The collecting ducts are these longer tubes that run down through the medulla, and the nephrons are going to be draining into that collecting duct.
Now I get it.
Okay. The
It's no
other
eight.
structures, let's go back now, are the calyx. The papillary drains into a region that's called the minor calyx. So there's a minor calyx for each papillary region, and again, each papillary region is the bottom of one of these pyramids. And these pyramids are filled with thousands of these nephrons, which are draining into these collecting ducts, which are draining into the minor calyx. Okay, the minor calyx then fuse together, several of them, to form a major calyx. And then there's several major calyx in each kidney, varying from 2 to 4. This is a structure that differs from person to person. And then the major calyx drain into the renal pelvis. And then the renal pelvis drains out into the urine. Okay, so the urine's going to start forming in the nephrons, enters the collecting ducts. The collecting ducts come together. It's a papillary duct which drains the urine into the minor calyx. Several minor calyxes fuse to form a major calyx. Several major calyxes fuse to form the renal pelvis, and then the urine leaves the renal pelvis and enters the urine. It drains.
And the nephron? You wouldn't know that
Again, the
before?
nephron is the functional unit,
It's the entire unit.
is one of
Yeah.
these units that forms the urine and actually performs the functions of the kidney.
So that's the only part that's in the actual cortex?
Well,
Or
the
is it
collecting
from the
ducts,
cortex all the way to the
collecting ducts
papillary?
also start up there.
So it
The
goes
neph-
all the way from the cortex to the papillary?
Some of them do. We'll get into that in a minute. Okay, there's two types of nephrons.
Okay, I guess.
One type stays mainly in the cortex. Another one starts in the cortex and has tubes that extend all the way down through the medulla. So, the nephron it's supplied, the purpose of the kidneys is it filters the blood, okay, takes the toxins out of the blood, and purifies it. Okay, dialysis is the function of the kidney. Okay, so obviously you have to have a rich supply of blood. Okay, at any given time, about 20% of your blood is being filtered through your kidneys. So the next part of the book looks through the arteries that are or the blood supplied to the kidneys and how the blood's being brought down. Okay. And, oh, we have a model here. So it starts, this is a flow diagram of the way the blood's going through. Okay. And if you look at your large model, let's sit over here. Pointer on that. So it starts with the artery coming in. Okay, the renal artery. Red. Okay. And next to it is the renal vein, so the blood coming out of the kidneys.
Renal vein is blue.
The artery then splits and passes up in between the columns, where it's called the interlobular artery. Okay. Notice there's also a segmental artery, which he does not ask you to identify in the textbook, in the lab manual.
Yeah.
Okay, but many textbooks have a segmental artery, and then its segmental artery splits, and as the artery passes up between the pyramids, remember that region is called the renal columns, it takes on the name of the interlobular artery.
It goes through a lot.
Okay, and the veins in that area, corresponding veins have the same name, interlobular veins. The blood vessels then causes and arches over the top of the pyramid, and its name changes to the arcuate artery, as it forms this arch that goes across the top of the pyramid structure. And again, the vein that corresponds to it is the arcuate vein.
And,
Okay? Now, the arteries branches in to become smaller, branching off of the arcuate, and its name now is the interlobular. Okay? Interlobar, interlobular. Names are very similar to each other.
oh my god,
Okay?
that's crazy.
Yeah. Don't ask me why they.
Interlobular.
That's like the same thing. Big difference.
And again, the vein corresponding in the same region as the interlobar vein.
I don't see it.
Oh,
What's the
don't get it
difference?
mixed up,
The
guys.
interlobar vein
That looks like-
artery is now going to enter the first structure of the renal nephron.
Oh, one has an L, the other one doesn't have an L.
In a year.
So
And a U.
the blood is then going to enter through the nephron. Okay. It goes through a structure called efferent arterioles and peritubular capillaries, which we'll talk about when we look at the structure of the nephron. And it comes out through the veins. So again, you're going to need to know this flow of blood and how the blood vessel names change.
I know.
This is going to come up on both the lab and likely there'll be a test on the lecture as well, asking you to identify, just like with the bronchial tree, how it went through. Same thing, how blood flows through the kidneys.
Isn't that crazy?
So again, this diagram is in the book. And you need to identify those things on the models.
16 pages.
Okay, the next model you have is the Nephron model, which is that one.
Give it to him.
That one, right?
Give it to him.
This one, right, Professor?
That's what you were recording.
Okay, so this is referring to this model now, Nephron model. Okay. So on this model, you're showing the arcuate arteries and veins are here. They're not showing up on my picture, but those are going to be here and here. And then off of it, you have branching the interlobular. coming up to the nephrons. And then off of the interlobular artery, you have an arteriole, which is called the afferent arteriole. Afferent arteriole. Okay. And the afferent arteriole is going to be bringing blood into this structure, which is called the glomerulus, the first part of the nephron.
Efferent means away?
Efferent.
Efferent.
Afferent, A-F-F-E-R-E-N-T.
That means
Means away, right?
no.
Into.
Into.
Efferent
E
means
stands
coming
for
out.
away.
Coming out.
That's weird.
Exit, like E for
So
exit.
E for exit.
So-
Yeah.
E for exit.
Afferent,
Like away.
afferent's going to be bringing blood.
E for away.
Afferent's going to be bringing blood into the glomerulus.
I guess so.
Okay, it goes through this special group of capillaries, and then the blood leaves through the efferent arteriole.
Oh.
Okay? It is not giving up any oxygen in this process, so it's still an artery.
Let's go.
Okay. So the blood leaves through the efferent arteriole, okay? And it then forms a capillary bed that wraps around these renal tubules. Okay? And that group of capillaries is known as the peritubular capillaries. So it's on the model here. You can see it. You have to identify those. Okay. Some of the peritubular capillaries wrap all around this loop. Okay, again, so I got to mention there were two types of nephrons. Some of them have a very long loop. Those nephrons are called juxtamedullary nephrons. And ones with a short loop are called cortical nephrons. The peritubular capillaries, when they're associated with this long loop, have another name where they're called vasorecta. And again, you have to identify that on this model.
It's on the long one.
Right. So the peritubular capillaries are where they're associated in this region. The vasorecta are the blood vessels down in this region.
Oh.
Now, so again, this is the nephron structure. We have the renal corpuscle. Okay, also known as the Malpighian corpuscle.